Okay, this is section 1.4, geometry, where we're talking about angles. So an angle is formed by two rays with the same endpoint. So we have rays on the side, and we call the endpoint the vertex. So two rays meet up, and this point right here is called a vertex. We can name it just by its vertex. So if this is A, we can call this angle A. If we have points on both sides, we can call it angle BAC. We use the vertex has to go in the middle. We could also call it CAB. And sometimes there's a number in the inside. It's poorly placed. There's a number in the inside. So we could call it angle 1. When we're measuring angles, we're measuring the interior of the angle. And that is our angle measure. Okay, so if we look at our picture, they want to know what are two other names for angle 1. So this angle right in here. So that is angle JMK, or we can reverse the order and it's angle KMJ. Notice how M always has to stay in the middle. Okay, so they want to know what are two other names for angle KML. Well, there's a 2 in the middle, so I can call it angle 2. I could also change the order of the letters, so this could be angle LMK. The M is still in the middle because it's my vertex. And then part B says, would it be correct to name any of the angles angle M? Well, if I called it angle M, I don't know which one I'm talking about. I don't know if I'm talking about angle 1 or angle 2. So in this case, I cannot call it angle M because it wouldn't clarify which one I'm talking about. Okay, so if we measure an angle in degrees, we can either write it with an M out front of the angle. So this is angle A. So if I do M and then the angle symbol and A, I can say it's 62 degrees. So that tells me the measure of angle A is 62 degrees. I could also write that out in words. The measure of angle A is 62 degrees. A circle has 360 degrees, and a protractor, a straight edge, goes from 0 to 180. So, protractor postulate, postulate 1.7, says consider OB, this blue ray, and a point A on one side of OB. Every ray of the form OA can be paired 1 to 1 with a real number from 0 to 180, which basically tells us that we can measure angles. Okay, there are different types of angles. There's an acute angle, which is the small one. Its measure is between 0 and 90 degrees. A right angle, which is 90 degrees, and notice that we use that little square down there to note a right angle. An obtuse angle is bigger than 90 but less than 180, and a straight angle is 180 degrees. Okay, measuring our angles, we're going to use absolute values again, like just how we measure segment lengths. And we'll need to see where these points are at. So if we look at LKN, that's that angle. It starts, L is over at 140. If you look here, that's crossing at 140. And our N is at 0. I'm looking at the inside numbers for this one. So the absolute value of 145 minus 0 equals 145. And that is an obtuse angle. If we look at JKL, that angle, J is at 90 degrees. If I'm looking at the bottom one, so it's at 90 degrees. And again, L is at 145 degrees. So we have the absolute value of 90 degrees minus 145, which is equal to the absolute value of negative 55. So it's 55 degrees. Again, just like with distances, we can't have negative distances. We can't have negative angles right now. And that is an acute angle. And if we look at JKN, that starts at 90 and goes to 0, and that is a right angle. Okay, so they want to know, what is the measure of LKH? So LKH, if I look at the top numbers, H is at 0 and L is at 35. So this is the absolute value of 35 minus 0, which is the absolute value of 35, which is 35. 35 degrees, and that is an acute angle. Now if I look at angle HKN, oops, that's a bad line, but that goes straight across. A straight line going from 0 to 180 is 180 degrees. And like I said, that's a straight angle. And finally, angle MKH. So MKH, you can look at the top or the bottom numbers. I'm going to look at the top numbers because H is at 0 and M is at 145. So it's the absolute value of 145 minus 0, which is 145 degrees. So this is an obtuse angle. Okay, and our lesson check. What are two other names for angle 1? That's angle ABC, or I can reverse that order, angle CBA. If the measure of angle ABD, so the whole thing there, is 85, what is an expression to represent the measure of angle ABC? Well, since that guy is X, that's going to be 85 minus X. We'll get a little bit more into that in our next lesson. And finally, classify angle ABC. ABC is an acute angle. And there's your homework.